Hi, folks. So, just a quick story. There's this guy that I met. I think his name is Wayne. Let's just say Wayne. And he works at a grocery store. And he's the kind of guy that you can see can't necessarily get himself together. Nice guy, right? But somebody who's just, I don't know, how can you put it? Falls on hard times very easily, can't get his act together, whatever it is. And, I chat to him in the grocery store, we have a good conversation. And just recently, I see him walking from the grocery store. I just saw him the other day. He was walking on the road, and I offered him a lift. And it turned out that he lives like a few blocks down the road from me. Now, he doesn't have a car. His car's in the garage, a whole lot of stories, whatever it is. This guy, that kind of typical guy's got a lot of stories to tell you, He's been in a lot of jobs. Again, nothing terrible about that, but just, I don't know, a complicated character. Sweet guy, but complicated. And so I gave him a lift, and he wanted to exchange phone numbers and get together. And so I did, but I'm reluctant to do so because he's the kind of guy that would probably ask, can I borrow some, can I loan some cash from you? I'll pay you back at the end of the month, and then most likely won't. And so I go for a walk on the beach in the promenade here in Durban, and I see him, like even today, walking on the road, and he's got quite a far walk, and I know that it's like literally not far from my house, and I can easily give him a ride. And I just felt really bad not to do it, but I sincerely feel that if I'm friendly with this guy, that it's, even if I put up boundaries, it's going to be complicated for me. And so I'm hesitant, and I didn't do it, and I felt terrible about doing it. Like, not just, how can I ignore the guy? He's just walking by himself, he's such a loner, he just needs some company. And anyways, I was going to a restaurant to get some takeaways, and as I was about to get into this restaurant, I saw the lady, I don't know for some of you if you remember, who I tried to help about 2 or 3 months ago, came up to me on the street, and she was just like, on her, just barely standing. I mean, exhausted, dehydrated, clothes disheveled, she just was in bad shape, whatever it was. And I really helped her out, and, long story short, it turned into a nightmare. She just was constantly phoning me, constantly wanting to borrow money, constantly wanting me to pick her up because she was stranded here. Just like the most terrible story. She got her friends to phone me, please, she's crying, whatever it is. Like I said, I helped her out as much as I could. I did. I tried to start a small business with her. Nothing worked. The moral of the story was that the universe was showing me, like, that I bumped into this woman, which was very random, especially at the time of night that it was. I mean, she shouldn't have been there. But just showed me, like, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad about not giving Wayne a lift, because, again, you're inviting a lot of trouble into your life. And that was the answer it gave me when I saw this woman, and just asking for trouble. And relationships and helping people can really get you into a lot of trouble. There's no question about it. And I just wanted to share that story. I just thought it was somewhat relevant. And I wanted to talk about a relationship that I've just realized in my life that's narcissistic. And I never realized it. The terms and conditions of this relationship was that basically, you don't talk about Fight Club. I was thinking about that while having a shower. That idea, like, Tyler Durden, that you don't talk about Fight Club. You don't talk about the shadow parts. You don't talk about the ego, right? Which was played by Brad Pitt. It's part Edward Norton, And anyway, so I don't talk about it in this relationship, the terms and agreements, conditions of this relationship in my life. And it's a family member that's been quite a big player in my life, and I just haven't noticed it because, the narcissistic energy, because one of the agreements is that you do not see my dark side, you do not see, my compromise, that involves you in my relationship with me. You do not see it. And I can't believe it, folks. Like, I just didn't see it. And I've put so much time, effort, love, energy, patience, and which is fine, but like an investment in a narcissistic relationship. And I haven't been taking care of myself. And I never realized when this individual was sowing so many seeds of doubt in me, like just sowing so many seeds of doubt all the time, like subtly, and kind of also, asking me for advice, and then often of the time saying I'm being judgmental or I'm being heartless or something like that. Completely, if I was trying to aid and assist, but yeah, just terrible, folks. Just really like making me feel bad for trying to point out and being assisting, like in their life, to say, look, maybe you need to look at this relationship that you have too much of a codependency. It's like, well, how dare you say that? You're supposed to be supporting me here, not making me feel worse. In very subtle ways, and I never realized this. I'm like, gee whiz, and this family member sowed seeds of doubt in my life, throughout my life, and I just can't believe it. And that's what makes me feel so upset with myself, upset with the person, upset with the situation, and just feeling really gross at the moment about things and about myself. Like, my body's my body's more conscious than my mind is. There's no question about it. I mean, my body reacts more so before I become aware of what's going on. I've said before, sometimes I've had like lower back problems. So if you have lower back problems, and I'll go on the internet, it'll tell me, you're afraid of your own safety, for your own safety. And this was just before the lockdown, and when the country was going through whatever, just potential breakout of riots and protests and just anarchy, whatever it was. And my lower back, strep throat, type of sore throat, look up on the internet, etc., gives me the definition. I look in and I say, that's exactly how I'm feeling. I just wasn't aware of it. And so for my body yesterday, I just felt like wiped. Something happened, there was a trigger, and it just wiped me, right? And it made me feel hollow, empty, like a massive void inside, and just not even feeling like I'm balanced, like I could keep my balance. I mean, I could, but I just felt overwhelmed and, just sort of hot under the collar and wanting to sort of lie down and just shut off the world. And again, just like trying to catch my breath. Because again, I've been absorbing this negative energy for so long, right? The self-doubt, and again, this evil in a way, this darkness. And I thought it was also love, it was because it was manifested as love, but it's toxic. It's absolutely toxic. I mean, I can't say it's absolutely toxic, it's majorly toxic. You see, now my whole frame of reference has gone. Like, you see, that's the problem with truth. Truth is very disorientating. Truth is very unsettling. Okay, truth is very ugly, right? It's very disturbing. Truth can make you sick. Okay, and that's why I know, and that's just the nature of truth. I mean, not all truth, but like when you wake up to the reality, the nature of this world, enlightenment, spirituality. When you start waking up, you feel sick, right? I think it was Rumi. I'm probably misquoting, but said that anybody who is really in touch with reality in this life or enlightenment, it will certainly make them sick from time to time. You just feel ill, okay? And I've been thinking about that as well. So, I can feel it in my body. I can feel it, like, again, and so I'm disorientated. I'm like, I'm thinking over the relationship. I'm thinking about over the conversations. I'm thinking about all the subtle, sort of manipulation, right? The gaslighting. Like, I wasn't even, and I talk about the narcissist. I talk about gaslighting. I talk about codependency, my own codependency. And I talk about like how, in relationships that we have these kind of subtle agreements that I won't see your shadow, your ego, or your dark side, and you won't see mine. Don't point out my shortcomings or my flaws, and I won't point out yours. Although this individual has found it very comfortable to point out all my shortcomings, tirelessly, and often of the time. And I'm just like, it's just so disorientating for me. And I just feel like really, It's good though, folks. I mean, I hope people, I'm not looking for empathy or sympathy in a way. I'm just sharing. I'm not saying that I'm all bummed out and I'm throwing in the towel and it's baby out with the bathwater, or something like that. Or like generally things are just crap and I'm falling into great despair and depression of quicksand and, the nothing is consuming me or something like that from the movie Never Ending Story. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying that for myself. I've become aware of this. And now is the cleansing, the purifying. Okay, just like Lee Harris was speaking about, he's an energy intuitive, and he was saying that this month is a lot about purging, a lot about detoxing, in a sense, and emotionally detox, and that which is unconscious, and things like that. And so, yeah, it's just. And so that's how I feel, and I'll be fine, and it's good. It's good because I become aware of something, but the initial reaction is that I just feel ill, to a certain degree. I just feel like, wounded in my stomach. Like I feel like there's a hole, you know what I mean? Like if you know what the experience is, you feel like a hole. And you just feel like, again, well, who can I trust? Who can I trust? Who is just in my life, just in it for themselves, okay? Who is really broken in my life that I have a relationship that I'm not willing to see? And I know that word sounds harsh, sounds, that they're broken, and maybe broken's not the right word, but they're wounded, terribly, terribly wounded, And who else in my life is like that? Let me just 1 second. Like it really, who else in my life? Who else is putting the wool over my eyes? Who else is taking more than they're giving, right? Who is just asking me to compromise myself? Who is gaslighting me in my life? That's the thing. It's like, I spoke about this before, that one of the most dangerous lies is false love. In this world is false love. Because what happens is that, I feel with this individual that part of my relationship with them was about, let me tear you apart. That's what I felt in my childhood. I will feel better about myself if you let me tear you apart. No, not even if you let me tear you apart. I will tear you apart and you will love me for it. You follow? You will still respect me and you will still trust me and you'll still love me and I will still love you, but let me tear you apart. Because that will make me feel good, Like in the movie Fight Club, again, I've spoken about this many times, when Edward Norton beats the crap out of Jared Leto, I think they call him Angel Face, is Jared Leto. And he just beats the pop, he's spitting out his teeth at the end, he's I don't know, he has to go to a hospital, it's a terrible scene. And, Edward Norton says, I wanted to destroy something beautiful, I just wanted to breathe smoke. I just, That's what, and that's it. It's like, that's what I felt with this person in my life. Again, I'm not getting into details because of confidentiality, but I just feel that, this is that they were in my life. I'm saying, and part of it was, let me destroy you, let me tear you apart, and I'll feel better about tearing you apart. And that way, you're actually doing something for me, right? You're doing something for me by letting me tear you apart. Because I'm feeling better about myself, I'm feeling happier about myself, And then, we're good, right? We're okay. I mean, and then we carry on, and then, you'll love me more and I'll love you more. That's the terms and agreement. Let me tear you apart. I'll feel better about myself. And so I was willingly, saying, okay, tear me apart, please. And that's what I understood as love. That's what I got to understand what love is. This is what I interpreted love to be. Is when somebody tears me apart or when I tear myself apart. You see, and that's how it became, the lines got crossed. And that happens for most of us, I would say, false love. Okay? And so again, it's very disorientating. You don't know who you can trust. You don't know what is real love, because you think real love is abuse. Okay? If somebody treats you in an unworthy way or devalues you, you can consider that to be love, right? And that's exactly what's going on in the world today, with government, with all the doctors, and not all the doctors, but you know what I'm saying, with the whole CV narrative. It's like, we're doing this because we love you. You know, we're tearing your life apart because we love you, under the premise of love. And people are saying, I agree with you 100%. This is what I was talking about with the narcissist, being in love with the narcissist. It's like, well, you're doing it for my own being. And that's why I think most of us have been so severely traumatized by our childhood that when we are abused, when we are imprisoned, we feel that it's love. We interpret that as love, as protection, right, from the authorities, you know. So obviously a big problem, this, you can be sure. And how many of us still carry this? Like, I know in myself how much self-doubt I have. I know today when I'm triggered, by this kind of situation, by this person in my life, when I realize this, and they, really, I don't realize it, I regress, and I'm like, I feel like I've got absolutely no worth, no value whatsoever. I feel like I'm an absolute clown. I feel I'm an embarrassment. I feel I've got nothing to offer anybody, that everything that I do is inauthentic, right? All my efforts, really, this is how I feel. I regress to a child. I feel like I have nothing to offer. The only thing that I have to offer is to beat myself up, to tear myself apart. I'm telling you, in that moment, I can't, and I'm more now when I'm observing it. I'm observing this, right? I'm not so engaged in it like I used to be. I'm observing it. Okay, I'm observing it. And so, it's harsh. It's hard to see, like, how little, even people in my life, that haven't been playing a narcissistic role. It's like, I just want to say to them, so, it's just like, so you're just here to take from me, hey? Oh, I've just let you down in every certain way, or something like that. Or I can't do anything right by you. Or just, I can see the mind talking in that way, or the people that do love me, or one person who loves me or cares for me. I'm like, well, you're just a fool. You're just an idiot to love me. What do you know? The only thing way you love me is because you want something from me, or the way that I make you feel. But what do you give back to me, type of thing. And they do give back to me, right? And they do love me, and they don't just want what they can get from me, but what they can give to me at the same time. But I just feel like, you don't, and you're just manipulating me. Because again, and I think this is what happens with mental illnesses, hey? This is where I was thinking. I think this can, get one into, like, sort of, like even schizophrenia, to a certain degree, if the trauma is severe enough. Like, you can't trust anybody. You can't even trust your own mind. Nobody is what it seems to be. Like, the world, you just can't relate to it. You can't understand it, because up, down is up, left is right, whatever, it's all upside down. Love is you being loved, but it's actually hate. You're being told the so-called truth, but it's actually a lie. So you actually don't know, and the system, right, causes a sense of schizophrenia, because it's like, we're doing this whole CV thing for your own good, your own well-being, and you're like, you split. This is not reality, but you're buying it as reality. It's fantasy. It's make-believe, and it's saying, no, it's real. You know what I mean? It's real. And that's why I've had this discussion, with some people, about the shape of the earth, and it's so controversial, People throw the baby out with the bathwater. As soon as you say, well, maybe I think the earth potentially could be flat, it's like, well, you're just an idiot with everything else you have to say. Everything else that you're, whatever it is, no matter your intelligence, your insights, what I've learned from you, what I gained from you, I throw all of it out if you think that the world possibly could be flat. But what I'm saying is, one of the reasons of maybe why it could be flat is because this narcissistic system, right, is completely all about lies. It's completely about changing the reality of which you live in to think it's something else. If they could make day night and night day, they would do it, right? And so that's, if they could make red black, or whatever, I'm saying, change the colors. You could always just change the name of the colors or something like that. But you know what I mean. They could change a woman. A woman's now no more a woman, she's a man, and a man's no longer a man, is a woman, type of thing. So they disassociate you, disconnect you from reality, with all the lies and whatever it is. I'm running out of time here. I've got to get an SD card, memory card. Yeah, folks. So that's, I think, why it causes these problems, and you just don't know who to trust. You just don't know, and that's why very few people actually want to wake up to the reality of the world that we live in. It's because you don't want to be know that you lied to. You know, your moral compasses, your ethic, everything is like, if everything, your whole life's a lie, which mostly it is. How do you wake up to that? You're so disorientated, and that's why the truth will make you sick. The truth will make you sick at certain times, right? And it will gut you, and it will leave you feeling empty and, like a void, and ripped to pieces and whatever it is for that time being, because it will obliterate the lie that you live in, and it will take you, your status, your ego, your beliefs, your efforts, your insights, everything, and it'll just chuck it all out. It'll just, flush it all down the drain, just like what a psychedelic will do, just. I'm running out of time, yeah. And so, yeah, folks. What else can I say? I just feel, let me press pause here. So it is. It's a hard road to truth. It's a hard road to be authentic. I mean, I'm still in this relationship with this narcissistic person in my life, and the only way that I can have a relationship which they very much enforce and demand upon me, right, is by ignoring their shadow, by ignoring their narcissistic tendencies and qualities, and how it's been for most of my life. And that's shocking. That's terrible. Like, I just want to say to them, look, this is how it is, And the thing is that even if I say that, I think they will just respond in absolute defense and attack, and it'll become like almost violent, abusive, right? They would become a dragon, right? A fierce, roaring dragon. And not that I'm afraid of dragons, but like, is it even worth it? Because by me addressing it and bringing it up with the narcissist again, they're not prepared to see it, or whatever it is, and you're just not going to get anywhere, but make things worse. But at the same time, I got to learn. Right, this is my test of how to be more, what's the word, assertive, I think, in a way, have healthier boundaries, have a stronger belief in myself, in my own morality, and, my own navigation. I'm running out of time. I'm putting on such pressure here. And just get to know myself more and more so, and what is my own truth, right? And a relation to my body as well. What's my body feeling? What's it telling me? What stress is it going through? Getting in connection with that, And again, boundaries, and again, relationship with the universe, with God, to show me along the way, where are my blind spots? Where is it that I am suppressing? Where I've been taught to suppress. I've been taught to deny. I've been taught to hate or loathe myself, or something or other. The seeds of doubt that have been implanted in me, that I may able to find those seeds, right, or those sprouts, or those weeds that have grown, and being able to, pull them out by the roots, and start afresh, and see myself with new eyes, That's what I think this time is about in a big way. All right, folks, we'll chat soon. Take care.